and better able to handle complex issues. I am guided by advice and the little knowledge God gave me and the help I get from you. They all go together. So if you know some things that are affecting the health of our nation that you believe I should know, while I have this little bit of authority, please help me do the right thing. If not, we all suffer.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, sir.
I don't either. I don't either.
I came to say that you came, sir. I'm only asking, you're the Minister of Environment, Steve. I thought by you being in that position, you'll be able to give me some more knowledge about what we're doing and what we're looking at. I understand what you're saying in the theology, but I just wanted to know, if you had any more insight in it. And if you don't, sir, that's why I asked if it's possible.
No, we'll get the information based on the question you raised.
Yes,
but that.
Thank you.
Sir.
Okay, I guess something that we do know, and the question was asked in this very building to a group of experts from Bahama Rock, and they all said that they were not aware, but they said that they were not aware that they were, that they had ever drilled into any caves or caused the collapse of any caves. And one of the problems we discovered was that the drilling and blasting and the vibrating is causing those caves to collapse. When those caves collapse, it stops the free flow of water underneath. When that happens, the water isn't able to flow through its natural conduits, and as a result, the water comes over. Now, if something like that was not addressed in their environmental impact assessment study, I would just want you to make a note of that so that it could be something that you will look out for when the Bahama Port Authority and when the government does their study, so that we can have answers on that.
One thing, with respect to that very subject, one thing was definitely told to me was that the team we have on retainer, Black and Beach, they had already indicated that they would need to hire an expert in blasting and seismographic analysis to look into that very issue so that they can make a judgment as to the extent to which, because the hairline fractures in the homes, the vibration in the homes was a huge social factor coming forward, and they want to be certain that the monitoring stations they have surrounding the blasting are adequate to address the concerns.
Thank you. Sir.
The gentleman who just spoke had a very interesting observation and brought up several things that I wish to ask. I wish to make a statement on something and also ask a question. I am aware of the hairline fracture that's affecting the island of Bahama. And it is true that such a study would give a much more definitive and maybe a projection of what continuous activities like this would cause in this island of Bahama. My first question is, you made also a statement that the gentleman's of the same genetic code as you are, meaning that this is our Bahamas and we should look out for it. My question is there an entity, an environmental company, a Bahamian environmental company, who has all of our interests at heart, who either the government would hire or whether who would look at the environmental impact statement of all those individuals who are pursuing industrial action in our country, who would look at it critically and say to the government, these are some of the issues that you need to look at. A seismic study based in this direction would help, or runoff of chemical environment to the ocean would have this kind of impact. Is there a company on hand that does? That's my first question.
We have a number of companies that can do that, meaning describe what issues need to be addressed. Bahamian companies. We have a number of Bahamian scientists and engineers who can give you a profile of issues that you would need to investigate. But even they search the world to find expertise once they've identified the issues of concern to measure the extent to which these issues of concern are being addressed or could be addressed. Dealing with earthquakes, blasting, hairline fractures, the shifting of the earth, there are people who spend their life studying that. They collaborate from Australia to Africa, Hawaii, California. There are parts of the Caribbean that are in the earthquake zone. You know, we in the Bahamas sit on a plate. We've never suffered earthquake, but we sit on a plate. And when situations like this arise, you search out the best expert you could who's knowledgeable about this area and the geology of the area in respect of the surrounding areas, and then they would be the ones that we would hire to look at it. Black & Veatch, the company that we have on retainer, is, you know, when you go looking for a lawyer, you pick a lawyer based on the thing you want to present before the court and the level of expertise you need, if it's constitutional law, if it's criminal law, whatever the case might be. When you come to serious environmental issues such as this, the more complex they become, the more specialized the expertise, and you have to search further. When we find that person, we make that person a Bahamian because they become our expert. And you have to then respect the person's professional integrity. But they always work with somebody here. But, you know, at the risk of saying the wrong thing, if people want to mess around with you and do nonsense, and you don't have the knowledge to know and evaluate it, they could. That's generally not the case when it comes to matters like these, because whatever we do here, if it's of the consequence of the nature that this gentleman asked, or you are suggesting, it's going to have implications for our neighbors in Florida. The Bahamas, the Great Bahama Bank, you know, is shared with Cuba, and very quickly it becomes next to Jamaica. So this ripple effect reaches very far. You know, those waves that we get in late October, washing up in Nassau, are the last remnants of a tsunami that came across the Pacific in many, many instances. That's just the way they, you know, when they start, they're 50, sometimes 200 feet underwater, and then they end up on shore. So you have tremendous transfer of this energy and these consequences. Sir?
One more. I'm not finished. Well, is there an entity or an individual who is currently investigating this hairline fracture on this island?
I don't know of anyone investigating the hairline fracture. Certainly as a result of this matter coming up tonight, somebody's going to be inquiring about it on Monday.
One final one is, of those interested parties who are interested in projects in the Bahamas, submit their environmental impact statement, is it only the best commission that scrutinizes and advises the government, or is there a private entity or group of individuals who also gives a separate advice or scrutiny on these EIS?
I think this came about with the Bimini Bay project. You know, we had a lot of questions regarding the Bimini Bay project. And so when we were asked to respond to the questions about the Bimini Bay project, that's when we put on retainer Black & Veatch and another company called Phoenix. They have been into Bimini and done a complete and total evaluation of that particular project. The Best Commission is asked principally to coordinate the processing of payments, the immigration protocols and things of that nature, so that these people can come into Bahamas with their equipment, do their work. Sometimes they need boats, sometimes they need planes, they need surveys, they need data to collect from different government agencies, and then they get into the field. They may need to hire people, and Best assists them like that. Best has a few scientists who may work with some of them on particular areas, but invariably the expertise reports either to the Office of the Prime Minister, or they give a sufficiently detailed report that the government is then able to say,